Hello, good evening, and welcome to Monkeys with Fire. How's everybody tonight? Hope you're all well. So then, I've got an exciting show for you this evening to be able to share with you a game that I've been looking forward to taking a look through for quite some time. We are going to be diving into Outgunned Adventure from Two Little Mice and Free League Publishing. This is a pulp cinematic action RPG. Regulars to the channel will know that we took a look at the Outgunned core rulebook a few months ago. We also then took a look at a supplement, World of Killers, and also Action Flicks, and we thoroughly enjoyed exploring all three books. So this is one that, as I say, I'm very excited about, because this is the opportunity now to play your famous archaeological heroes, your tomb raiders, or your mummy vanquishers. So really excited about this because this hits on some of my favourite films. My thanks, of course, to Two Little Mice and Free League Publishing for making available a copy of Outgunned Adventure for us to take a look at this evening. If you do have any questions during the course of the show, please put them into the chat or leave a comment on the video. The video itself does have a link to the Free League Publishing website where you can pre-order or purchase, I think it's available now, of course, purchase a copy of Outgunned Adventure. And also, at the time of recording, it is just 1 week away from Gen Con 2025. And Two Little Mice are up for 2 awards in the yearly Ennies. I've put the details in the link of the video description, and there is a link to actually put in your vote. So if you wanted to support Two Little Mice, you can click on that link and register a vote. I believe Outgunned Adventure is down for Best Supplement, and Two Little Mice are down for being Best Publisher. So, well, let's take a look at the book and maybe place a vote at the end of the show. All right, let's go to the table and check it out. So then, here we go. Again, our thanks to Free League and Two Little Mice. They actually provided 2 items here. So, of course, we have the standalone genre book, Outgunned Adventure. And then we also have this mission dossier, Fall of Atlantis, a free-shot campaign for Outgunned Adventure. You see, you know it's Pulp Fiction as soon as you've got Atlantis in there. I always remember the LucasArts game. Oh gosh, what's it called? Is it Fate of Atlantis? I think it's Fate of Atlantis, wasn't it? One of those early point-and-click adventure games with, of course, Indiana Jones, famous archaeological explorer of the era. So, yes, looking forward to this. Let's take a look at the book to start off with. We'll just read the back here. The world out there is full of unexplored jungles, lost pyramids, and cursed temples that are just waiting for an unprepared explorer to slip up. Collapsing floors, creaky bridges, poisoned darts, fire jets, and rolling boulders. You can expect all of that and even more. But if I know you, and I've seen my fair share of people like you, a few obstacles and a handful of deadly traps won't be enough to stop you. So get up now on your feet, pack your bag and grab your hat. Adventure is back. Outgunned Adventure is a pulp adventure game inspired by the classics of the genre, from Indiana Jones to The Mummy. In Outgunned Adventure, the players take on the role of brave adventurers in search of an invaluable treasure. Adventure is the first genre book in the Outgunned line, and you can play it either standalone or as an expansion to Outgunned. There we go. The book itself, it's got this nice soft touch feel that I've started to see on quite a few books. We've got a little bit of spot highlight treatment on the logo there, so it catches the light. We've got this wonderful artwork of this sort of mishmash, I guess, of an Indiana Jones and a Lara Croft type of character deep in the jungle, obviously on search of treasure. We do have a nice little ribbon bookmark to save your page. And we've got a very, very nice design throughout. We'll, of course, take a look at this in more detail. The pages are of good quality. There is a slight sheen to them, so we do get a little bit of reflection from the light. But the graphic design is very, very clear. It's very easy to read. We have these nice call-outs in the margin to highlight key aspects. And I just like actually the size, the format size of this. I guess, what is it? It's not like an A4 size. It's a smaller book size than what typical game books. And I really like that. Nice and handy. So yeah, I think we're going to enjoy this. All very clear. Got some really, and of course we got some nicely inspired pieces of artwork that fans of the genre will instantly recognize. It's definitely not so unashamed as far as let's take things that people love in these movies and do our version of them. Yeah, this is really cool. If you like Indiana Jones and The Mummy, you're really going to enjoy this for sure. Alright, I'm going to just move this out of the way, just to give myself a little bit of room. Let's take a look then. Outgunned Adventure. These are tools, not rules. And of course we have our credits page here. And what do we have? We've got quite a few chapters to explore. Again, if you already have Outgunned, then a lot of this will be quite familiar. So, what do we have? Adventure is a pulp adventure game inspired by the classics of the genre. Yes, it's the first genre book in the Outgunned line, and you can play it either standalone or as an expansion. And if memory serves, Two Little Mice have just concluded a Kickstarter for maybe it's the second genre book, all about superheroes. So that may be on the cards for the future. That'll be exciting. There's so many genres that they can do, considering that all of these games are sort of movie themed. I guess do we have maybe a sci-fi one or a fantasy one at some point? So Adventure uses a game system called Director's Cut, a set of mechanics using small pools of 6-sided dice to determine the outcome of the adventurer's actions. When rolling dice, your goal is not to score the highest or lowest possible number, but to roll 2, 3, and 4 of a kind. And we'll come on to that in a little bit. Again, we looked at this mechanic when we looked at the core rulebook for Outgunned, and really enjoyed this mechanic. It's very, very cool. It's very exciting to play, and of course, given the sort of the nature of these cinematic adventures we're on, it builds that excitement. So it's a great mechanic to play. So what do we have? Everything you need to know. Of course, it's going through a little bit here as far as setting the game up for new players. But so who are we? One of the players will be the director of the game, who will be tasked with setting the scene of the world and interpreting supporting characters, extras, and enemies. Where are we? So here we go. The game is set somewhere in a cooler version of our world, where the untamed wilderness hides remnants of forgotten civilizations and mystery lies just around the corner. When are we? The game is set sometime between 1920 and 1940, when the world was still wide, different, and unpredictable. Depending on the needs of your story, you can choose to set a date or settle for a vague between the two wars. What's the goal? To find your treasure, whether it's cash money or eternal life, real or metaphorical. The most important thing for you is the treasure, not the journey. How many players? So, director, the GM, and 3 to 4 adventurers. We need a handful of 6-sided dice. And then it's how many sessions? A short cinematic campaign of 5 to 8 sessions. Or several shorter stories to create a cinematic saga, like Die Hard 1, 2, and 3. Great. Okay. So, I think this does tell us a little bit about if you've already got Outgunned. Yes, here we go. Adventure is the first genre book for the cinematic action role-playing. So let me ask you a question. I like how the book really does talk to the reader. So do you already own the Outgunned book? Yes, I have the Outgunned core book, so you can treat adventure like a mega expansion, a rule book that changes some of the standard Outgunned mechanics and enriches your gaming experience. So this is actually quite cool. So for your convenience, all the rules previously included in the core book are compiled in Section 2, Basics of the Game. Veterans like you can skip that chapter, even though I must say it has been enhanced with new examples that could come in handy. So that's kind of interesting that potentially, could you get these new rules and unwork the game and play an ordinary action adventure movie style? I wonder. So I do not own Outgunned. So it's completely standalone. You don't need any other book to play, not even the Outgunned core book. So yeah, but if you want to make use of the detailed tools to manage adrenaline-paced action scenes, consider that the Outgunned core book contains all of the advanced mechanics to manage chases, enemies, firearms, and ranges. So there is a benefit then to actually having the core rules in addition to adventure. Not to mention 10 unique roles, such as sleuth, the agent, or the spy. 18 tropes and a slew of traits for both adventurers and their enemies. All perfectly compatible with adventure, right? Okay, I could well imagine that anybody who might have Outgunned would certainly be interested in this. And if this was your first introduction to Outgunned, I reckon that once you'd played a few games of this, you'd probably want to go and get the original core book to be able to either enhance your games of adventure or to actually play the Outgunned itself is more action movie, like Die Hard. There you go, that's the perfect example, isn't it? Whereas this, of course, is your Indiana Jones style of movie. So, a little bit on how to play, which is for anybody who's not familiar with role-playing games, and some game terms. Here we go, the Pillars of Adventure. They did something similar to this in the core book. So, when playing adventure, you are practically playing through your own adventure movie. Okay, even if you're not an expert of the genre, you'll soon realize that going on a great adventure is not hard at all. You start by following these 3 recommendations. So the adventure never stops. When adventure knocks on your door, it never gives you a clear destination. The only thing you can be certain of is that you'll have no time to dawdle. In any adventure movie worthy of this name, the characters are constantly propelled forward, and they must always get by with limited resources. The journey is the treasure. The treasure is the horizon towards which the adventurers travel at breakneck speed, but it is not the focus of the story. The most important part of an adventure is the adventure itself. And a mystery is just around the corner. An ancient temple has waited for centuries, protected by surprisingly advanced traps that somehow still work. Yes. Who takes care of the maintenance? Excellent, it calls it out. A diary emerges from the ocean. Its contents rewrite history as we know it, but what is the truth? So soon after setting off on your adventure, you start to notice strange events, stuff that just eludes all logical explanations, and maybe it's better like that. There are some mysteries that should remain mysteries. Not all questions need to be answered. Yeah, a little bit of a call out. Show, don't tell. The best movies don't just tell about things, they show things with facts and actions. So we have a little bit of a historical background here. 1922, a guy named Howard Carter started digging in the desert and unearthed the lost tomb of the pharaoh Tutankhamun. So yeah, okay. So this is basically giving us a little bit of a historical timeline. And ultimately we're starting from the end of World War I in 1918 to 1939, the beginning of World War II. And of course, this period is the age of discovery, isn't it? We have planes and I guess zeppelins at this time. We have automobiles, we have trains, but we certainly have no internet. But everything, the world is becoming much, much smaller. We're able to finally be able to travel relatively quickly around it, and so exploring countries is a little easier than it has been previously. And it does point out 1926 is the year when The Mummy, the movie, is set. And 1936 is the year when Raiders of the Lost Ark is set. So to give you a bit of an idea if you wanted to have your adventure during that time. There was one, oh gosh, what's the name of that TV show? I thoroughly enjoyed it as a kid. I wonder what it's like if I was to watch it now. And you know, no surprises where the channel got its kind of name from. It was all about a golden monkey, and I can't think of the title of the show, but the actor, the hero, I'm pretty sure it was Stephen Collins. And all I remember is he had a seaplane, and effectively, it was Indiana Jones, the TV series. And I just used to thoroughly enjoy it, but I wonder if it holds up to today. I can't remember, but it was something about the golden monkey. Gonna have to do a search for that, or maybe somebody in chat, you can let me know. So we have our adventure sheet, and this is, I think is this chapter 2? Oh no, section 1. So it's section 2. So this was just the intro before, wasn't it? So if you want to be a great adventurer, you must follow these 3 worlds. Your greatest treasure. You are looking for a treasure. Maybe you're trying to get it back to its rightful owners, or find a new home for it in a museum. It belongs in a museum. You take risks, and you do the right thing. So creating your adventurer, you choose a role, fill in your personal data, choose a trope, mark the attribute and skill points gained from your role and trope, add 2 free skill points, choose and note 3 feats from your role and trope, choose your gear, depending on your role, and then mark 1 luck, 1 spotlight, and 1 cash. And we got an example of the an adventure sheet here. If I remember rightly, these are just really, really easy to fill out. And the good thing about this book is there's plenty of examples throughout, just like the original. So we're making a character here, Jason O'Donnell, who's a former soldier. They are an adult. They have a catchphrase that is, "I've had worse." And in their flaw, "I'm afraid of spiders." Oh my goodness, yes, it is so like me. See, this is what would stop me from exploring any temple or, yes, and certainly in hot climates, I would be stopped straight away. So we can actually have young, adult, and old adventurers. That's interesting. What does old do? You can try and hide it, but the years and miles are beginning to take their toll. So, old adventurers start the game with 2 lethal bullets in their death roulette instead of 1, but they can choose 1 additional feat. Because of course they've got a little bit more experience. But and then young adventurers, they have an exclusive feat of too young to die. So what roles do we have? It quickly goes through the daredevil, the guardian, the captain, the hunter, the heart, the star, the professor, the technician, the scoundrel, the smuggler. I'm already thinking scoundrel. I think that's the type of role I might go for. And then there is a special role, which is the fortune seeker. So when you choose a role, you gain 1 point in an attribute and 1 point in each of 10 skills. And you choose 2 feats from the list of 6 for the role. Alright, let's go and check one of these roles out. Aha! So here is our daredevil. So, what do we have? Background: former soldier, explorer, tomb robber. Essentially a tomb raider, isn't it, I guess? Catchphrase: we've got a few ideas, we've got some flaws. I act like without thinking, I never back down from a challenge, I hide a dangerous secret. Characteristics: brave, reckless, and has had worse. So we got an attribute point going into brawn. Skill points: endure, fight, stunt, cool, shoot, survive, flirt, leadership, stealth, and streetwise. Gear: we got a pistol or a revolver, a knife, and rope. We get a whip. This is something that I really liked in Outgunned, is that in each of these roles they call out the movie equivalents of that particular role. So no surprises that the Daredevil, Dr. Henry Indiana Jones Jr., or Rick O'Connell, or Nathan Drake, Lara Croft, Dr. Xander Smolder Bravestone in Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, which I think is that's the Rock's character, isn't it? The Guardian. Guardians are strong and resolute adventurers who strive to protect the treasure or their travelling companions. So again, we get a few of those movies being mentioned again. The Mummy, Atlantis, The Lost Empire. I don't think I've watched that movie. Indiana Jones Last Crusade, Tomb Raider, and Uncharted. It does, of course, also mention video games. I think video games is, of course, a good resource for this as well, isn't it? The Captain. Jungle Cruise. Ah, yes, another one with The Rock. DuckTales? Oh, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The least we talk about that, the better, eh? The Hunter. Alan Quatermain, of course. Yes. Good old Sean Connery in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Nate Samuels in Beast. Ah, Hugh Glass in The Revenant. Yeah, yeah. Katniss Everdeen in Hunger Games. Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I suppose so, yes, because he's obviously the Ranger, I guess. Hunter and Ranger. Yeah, yeah, that works. The Heart. So, Sam in Lord of the Rings. Watson in Sherlock Holmes. So even though this is your pulp adventure genre, but we are pulling in characters from other movies, popular movies, just to give us a little bit more of an idea as to the type of character Phil Coulson in the Avengers. Oh, okay. The Star. Okay, and again, this is interesting. So it's saying here that Phileas Fogg in Around the World in 80 Days would be the star. So even though we see here maybe a famous cabaret singer, of course, you know, Phileas Fogg is very proud of himself and his achievements. And so that being the case, Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park, the character played by Jeff Goldblum. So yes, even though he was a scientist, you would have thought he might have been the professor, but I think he's definitely driven by his ego more than anything else, yeah? So we got professor, technician. Let's see, the scoundrel. Okay. So short round in Indiana. Yeah, okay. Benny in The Mummy. Didn't Benny die? I said I wanted to be the scoundrel. I'm not sure about this one now. So scoundrel's a bit more of a lovable crook. Yes. What about a smuggler? Helena Shaw in Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. Ugh. Yes. Oh. Okay. Moving on. This is our fortune seeker. So, fortune seekers are a be-all and end-all of the adventurer. They have a strong personal tie with a story or a treasure, and often some unfinished business with the rival too. Special role simultaneously acts as your role and trope and your background. Okay. So then we have our tropes. Trope is the archetype of your adventurer, and it allows you to get a quick look into the character and mannerisms. What do we have? 15 tropes. The action archaeologist, the adventuring author, the born rebel, cold and distant, cowardly lion, detestable bastard, the dreamer, the flying steamroller, the gentle giant, the indispensable rogue, the parental figure, the proper gentleman or lady, the reluctant hero, the salty dog, or the wild at heart. Adventuring author. Oh gosh, what was the that film Jewel of the Nile? So that would be adventuring author, wouldn't it? It was Kathleen Turner. I can't remember the character's name. And of course it was Michael Douglas. So what would he be? He would be... Oh, indispensable rogue? Maybe? He's not going to be a proper gentleman, because he wasn't, was he? Let's have a look at indispensable rogue. Let's see what that suggests. So let's be straight here. You are far from perfect and your actions are questionable. You may not follow the highest ideals, and perhaps you have done a couple of things you regret, but you're just too useful to be left behind. So, fix it, lockpicker, quick fingers, a trailblazer. Not quite the Michael Douglas character. In fact, yeah, here we go. As much as I hate to admit it, detestable bastard. You just can't help it. When you see a chance to make a buck, you have to try. And when your life is at stake, you have no time to worry about others. Oh, but no, he did care, didn't he? But it does say you get an attribute point in smooth or crime. And feats, quick fingers and subterfuge. So... yeah. Oh, it's not quite. It's a little bit of all of these, isn't it? Okay. So we have our attributes and skills. So we're going through here. We've got brawn, nerves, smooth, focus, and crime. And then we have our list of feats. Gosh, there's quite a few here, isn't there? 42 feats. Let's just pick. Well, let's go through and see. So archaeology being, of course, an important one. But what else have we got? Our explorer, or maybe we have a gunslinger. A heartbreaker. Nobody can resist your damn smile. It's quite a few. Well, 40 odd there. Then we have resources of an adventurer. So this then takes us into the actual basics of the game. If, as it suggested at the beginning, if you already have Outgunned, you potentially could skip past this section. But I believe that the rules have been revised. A little bit easier maybe to go through for new players. So what we're going to do is we're just going to focus in a little bit on the core rules here as far as the director's cut aspect of it and the dice pools. So essentially, let's just find out where I need to look. So when you're making a roll, you must always use one attribute and one skill. Although skills are listed under the attributes they're almost paired with, you can always use a skill with any attribute. So when shooting, you'll often roll nerves plus shoot. When throwing punches, you roll brawn plus fight. So after choosing an attribute and a skill, add up the two scores. The total is the number of dice you must roll. To play adventure, you can use the special adventure dice, okay, but typical 6-sided dice will be fine. Luck, conditions and gear can all modify your chances of success. So, let's see. So here we go. The higher the difficulty, the higher success you'll need to pass the roll. So we've got 4 levels of difficulty: basic, critical, extreme, and impossible. So critical, a full action or reaction, like bursting through a sturdy door, jumping out of a window, or earning someone's trust. So we're probably going to be going for a critical roll. And where we do have, here we go. So to get a success for each of the 2 or more dice that land on the same side, so a basic critical success is 3 of a kind. Let's just quickly jump to the back, because I think we do have some pre-made characters. Let's take our adventurer. So we're going to do some kind of fight. And what we're going to do... So it's nerves and shoot. So that effectively it gives us 6 points. So that's 6 dice. Alright, let's give this a go. I'm going to take the bookmark out. But I can just keep this. So if we are looking for... Oops. That's better. Let's see if I can remember this. So critical is the difficulty. In fact, is it the next page here? Because we are able to re-roll, aren't we? Let's bring some dice into play. So I have 6 dice, don't I? Oh, there you go. There's our 6 dice. Doesn't really matter the fact that these are all coloured differently. So I need to have 3 of a kind for a success. And I just need 1 success, don't I? Let's go with that. Let's make it easy for ourselves. So double difficulty. When you're making an especially a complex or dangerous roll, the director can choose to set a double difficulty. This means that the roll will be difficult equal to 2 basic, 2 critical, or 2 extreme. We're not going to do that. So basic rolls. So most rolls worthy of an adventure are critical rolls. Usually that should be the difficulty of your actions. So let's say we are going to burst through a sturdy door. We just need 1 critical success. So, oh, hang on, but I've just changed the conditions, haven't I? Don't want to do that. So we're going to do brawn, which is 3, and force. So it's actually 5 dice. Let's go with that. I've made it harder for myself now. Should have stayed with the shooting. So I was looking for 3 of a kind. I've actually got 2 6s. So that's cool, but it's not what we need. So let's just go over this. So haven't passed. Now, you can't always get it right on the first try. If after rolling with dice you have scored at least 1 basic success, well, we did, didn't we? Because basic success is 2 of a kind, so we've done that. Then you can re-roll, and as it says, re-rolling drastically increases your chances of successes, so I suggest you do it very often. When re-rolling, you take all the dice that were part of a combination and roll them again. If after a re-roll your result is better than the first, congratulations, otherwise you lose 1 of your previously scored successes. Alright, so I need to roll these and hope that I get a 6 to join those first 2, giving me that critical success I'm after. No, but what an amazing roll. That actually, now how is that going to work? Hang on. Your new roll is considered better than the first if you roll an additional success or if you transform one of your successes into a greater success. So that is a better success because that is my critical roll, isn't it? So that's fine. Yeah, when re-rolling, take all the dice that weren't part yet. If after the re-roll your result is better than the first, otherwise you lose 1 of you previously scored. Your new roll is considered better than the first if you roll an additional success, which I have, or if you transformed one of your successes into a greater. So I haven't transformed this, but I have done a better success. Oh, but actually, it doesn't mean... I think maybe if I had done another success, it would have been fine. Didn't necessarily have to be 3 of a kind on that, but that's even better, isn't it? And so actually I do get that critical success and we burst through the door, no problem. But we can then do an additional free re-roll because some of our feats allow us to do free re-rolls. So if after making a re-roll or a free re-roll you got a better result, you can still choose to go all in. Once more, roll all dice that aren't part of a success, like you would roll a normal re-roll. So what I could do... Oh, see, this is the gambling side. I could re-roll all of those and hope I get more 6s to add to this. But it would probably make more sense to re-roll these, hoping I get 5s, to take this from a critical success up to an extreme success or even an impossible success. Because of course if I get more, or if my success level is higher for this particular task, then I can potentially have more bonuses to it. Should we just give that a go? Let's see, can I get 5s? Even though I have succeeded. But the problem is though, if I go all in, but if you do not get a better result, you lose all of your previously successes. And so this is the kind of the poker, the gambling side of the game. Chancing luck. And I really like this. I think that's really cool. I'm going to go for it. Just for the value in the show, I guess. So I need a 5. I need a 5. Oh! And there we go. And so as much as I had the opportunity to burst through that door, I actually find out that I barge into it full force and bruise my shoulder. So yeah, you didn't get a better result, you lose all of your previous successes. It's called going all in for a reason. Yep. Cool, cool, cool. This is really, really good fun playing out. And again, really handy. Gives us some nice examples to be able to refer back to. I do appreciate that in games. What have we got here? Extra actions. So extra critical successes. So whenever you score extra successes, you can spend them to take extra actions, such as an extra basic... I see, if I had kept the 3 5s and the 2 6s, I would have had an extra basic success, which would have allowed me to do a quick action. Because I needed the critical success to actually do what I wanted. So I could have been able to burst through the door and throw an item, or reload a weapon, or reach partial cover, or do something quick and easy. You see, so, you know, sometimes you shouldn't go for throwing everything in. What have we got? Help and hindrance. So some pieces of gear or secondary characters can grant you help. So you gain +1, so you gain an extra dice. And that's what most of the help and hindrance is all about, adding extra dice or taking dice away from your roll, just making those rolls easier or harder. Dangers and enemies. So when you take an action or reaction that puts your life or safety on the line, you'll make a dangerous roll. This is denoted by the skull. So the difference between a normal roll and a dangerous roll is that if you fail a dangerous roll, you don't face the usual consequences for failure. Instead, you lose a set amount of grit. When you lose an amount of grit, you must fill it in equal to the number of grit boxes on your adventure sheet. So this is how you eventually can be knocked out of the game. Again, we've got another example. Loving all the artwork. The artwork is just brilliant throughout. Just gonna realise time is ticking on, and I want to show some other aspects here. So even grit has its limits, and if they don't play their hand carefully, even the greatest adventurers run the risk of kicking the bucket. So this is the death roulette. So next to your conditions are a 6-bullet cylinder. This was again included as part of the Outgunned. So when a director asks you to take a spin on a death roulette, roll a numeric 6-sided dice. If the result is greater than the number of lethal bullets in your roulette, you just had a brush with death. Add a lethal bullet to your cylinder, describe how you managed to cheat death once again, and keep on playing. If the result is equal to the number of your lethal bullets in your roulette or lower, I'm afraid to say that you'll be left for dead, unless a friend saves you at the last second by using one of their spotlights. So if you remember, the old-aged characters, they have 2 bullets. So by rolling, what would it be? It would be a 4 or less, isn't it? Did it say equal to or lower? Oh, but hang on, you start... Yeah, you have to start at 2, so yes, it'd be 2 or lower, isn't it? Because of course, as more bullets get added. So let's just have a quick roll. 2 or lower. Yay, we're okay. Our older character survives another day. So we've basically got some breakdowns here for different enemies. Treasure guardians, formidable hunters. Again, another example. There's lots of examples in the book, which really helps. I am sort of rushing through this a little bit now. We've got our guns and gear. Of course, items you would expect useful for an adventurer, and of course of the time period. I do like the fact of the time where this game is set. I don't know if there are any other games like this set within that sort of, as it says, between the 2 world wars. What if you're familiar with any game that is set in that time period? Put it into the comments. Let us know. boomerang. Some dynamite. Ah, an ancient artifact that can reveal the location of the treasure, a map nobody can decipher, a mysterious key, or a diary stuffed with clues. These are all perfect examples of key items. Getting the key, losing the key. So this is where it starts to break things down a little bit as far as the sort of mechanics of how an adventure might play out. So on the next page you find 4 iconic keys. So what do we have? The Serpent's Dagger, the Seal of Anubis. Is that the Ponce de Leon's map? And the Pilgrim's Journal. But of course, you know, this is where you can allow your creativity. It's got a... what about a dagger that shows the ruins of a destroyed space station? How that the dagger was made thousands of years earlier. That's an example of a really badly designed key. Okay, temples and traps. This is great. One of my favourite fighting fantasy books was Death Trap Dungeon. I always loved the idea of just creating just trap after trap after trap. And of course, exploring some hidden jungle temple that just has lots and lots of traps. I think that's going to be so much fun. Let's see what type of traps. So, yeah, triggering a trap, avoiding traps. What type of traps? Here we go. Kinds of traps. Trigger traps, deterrent traps, deadly traps. Okay. And of course, the great thing about this genre, again, is that there are plenty of other books that you could use as resources and bring it into this type of game. So we got what we can mention here: wall darts, a cleaver, a trapdoor, mechanical statues, snakes, or various poisonous creatures. What's that? Shock? The blade tunnel, closing door, slipway, scorpions, rotating bridge, revolving walls. Oh, this is great. This is really good. Flooded room, rolling boulder. You've got to have a rolling boulder. Collapsing floor, sea of fire. The floor is lava. Yeah. Great. That's really cool. And there's so many more. Again, like I say, you can take it from other resource game books to include this. I've got something, as we go through, something I have in mind, which when I went through initially, I thought, oh yes, of course, this book would be an amazing companion to this. So, running. Now, I think this is the thing, isn't it? In the Outgunned, they gave details on how to do car chases. But this is... And of course, you can bring those car chases into this world. Well, this is now giving us some rules on characters running. There's lots of running going on. This would be good for a Doctor Who episode, wouldn't it? Yes? Running from one place to another. So, supernatural threats. Right, and they do actually... okay, so they do it here. I was thinking of some of the white books from Monty Cook Games. Regulars to the channel will have no doubt seen all the many explorations we've done with those various books, be it the horror genre book, or the fantasy book, or the magic book. And they do ask these type of questions. So... And this kind of does it in a very succinct way. So before you set out on your next adventure, ask yourself this question: is the supernatural real? So yes, but it doesn't appear to be. No, but it appears to be. Yes, and it appears to be. No, and it doesn't appear to be. And nobody knows. And it gives examples of whether supernatural is there or not. So, is the supernatural real? No, but it appears to be. Uncharted and Tomb Raider. And yes, but it doesn't appear to be, is Raiders of the Lost Ark. So the Ark of the Covenant did have true power, didn't it? But Indy just didn't believe until he did. Whereas the Mummy, yes, the supernatural is very real and very obvious. Whereas National Treasure, of course, forgot all about National Treasure as being an adventure, even though it's set sort of modern day. So it's all true, kid. So what do we have? Supernatural enemies? We get some examples. Supernatural feats. We have minions, of course. So yes, the Pharaoh's mummy. The Yeti. Of course, again, the Mummy series didn't have Yetis in it. A mighty warlock. Nagini. This is like serpent, isn't it? According to Hindu and Buddhist tradition, the Naga are the divine race of human snake hybrids, whose king watched over the, oh gosh, Chintamani stone. So again, this is where you can have so much fun because you can bring mythology from various civilizations into your game, can't you? To adventure. So this is going to be a bit more of the sort, I suppose, the GM section on how you actually set up your adventure. And I found this was actually quite helpful in the Outgunned core rules, because we do have, yes, we have this travel journal. So this is so characters all, or players all get their character sheets, and the GM is just left to sort of scribble on a notepad sometimes. But this game actually includes a sheet for the GM or the director, so they can put all of their notes in, so they know exactly how the adventure plays out. I thought that was really cool addition. But they're considering the GM as much as the players. Different kinds of treasure guardians, the treasure's true nature, because sometimes the treasure might not be what it seems. And what do we have? We have the Templar's treasure. Again, I think I'm going to really enjoy the sort of historical aspect that you can attach. So, you know, you could watch, what would be the Da Vinci Code, and then take some of those elements and put it back into the 1930s. I think that could be a lot of fun. I just said this before, and the Chintamani, the legendary jewel, literally translated from Sanskrit, wish fulfilling stone. Ah, so is this the sort of the MacGuffin? I think that's the name, isn't it? That was used in the Wonder Woman 1984, where basically he got all the wishes, didn't he? And he made his wish, I want to be the wish-giving stone type thing. Okay. The Water of Life. The Book of... yeah, Anubis. Book of Anubis, isn't it? So, is that the Book of the Dead? Yes. Anubis, the jackal-headed god that watches over the necropolis and the underworld. Oh, okay. We've got to have some rivals, and if you're going to be a rival, they've got to basically have some kind of monocle and black leather coats, haven't they? We all know what that's representing. And of course, it just wouldn't be right without them, would it? I hate these guys. The perfect enemy. Yes, it does actually. I can't say this word. It's but it's the Association for Research and Preservation of Ancestral Heritage. Is it Ananurba? There's many. I enjoy my adventuring novels, and they're always featured in them in the sort of the prologues before the modern day adventurer gets involved. The camp. So I guess this is where we can recover, relax. So while at camp, each adventurer can take 2 actions. Investigate. Adventurer can use an action to decipher, translate, or analyze a clue. Heal. Fix. Comfort. Ah, okay. Resources, explore, advice. And then we have rules on advancement. So as we finish our cinematic one-shot, we're able to boost. So what do we have? 4 types of experience. We get an achievement. We get a scar, a bond, a reputation. Gaining experience. Okay. Gosh, a scar example. I'm afraid of snakes. Is that because you fell into a huge pit during the course of the adventure? Okay, so we've come to the end, effectively, of the book, and we have our spoiler alert. So this is for the GMs only. I'll just put up the spoiler sign. So players, you of course would not want to see anything here. You don't want to ruin it. I'm not going to focus too much in on this. I just want to highlight the how well presented this is, how it breaks down the actual adventure into various scenes, and we have of course our pre-made characters, which we have their sheets at the back of the book. But what I found incredibly useful in the core rules, and they do exactly the same here, is they have the text here and the rules to actually relay to the players, but then on the other side of the double page spread, these are elements for the benefit of the GM, and they just link up. So this important point is talking about Odin's key, and here we go. We have a little bit of a highlight on it. I think this is a handout for the players, and I found this really helpful. That pretty much all the information you needed for this first scene is just within these 2 pages. You don't have to go anywhere else. And this just follows through on each of these. And I found this really handy. I liked this way of being able to present an adventure, especially if you are a newcomer to role-playing games. I think this is a great format. And then ultimately, at the back, as we already kind of seen, we do have our pre-made characters. We have our daredevil, we have our captain, which again I find incredibly helpful as a guide to when you're creating your own characters, so to make sure, oh yes, I've got everything in the right place. We of course do have a blank character sheet. We have this travel journal for the director, and then we have an index, and of course a filmography. So all the types of films that you might want to check out to give you inspiration for your adventures. May this rulebook lead you to fortune and glory, kid. So that is the standalone genre book for Outgunned, and this is Adventure. I did sort of tease this mission dossier. Effectively, this is Fall of Atlantis, and this first section is the adventure that's at the back of this book. So this Frozen Legacy. But of course, this has 2 additional one-shots and has the handouts. So you get a little bit of a tease in here. So you've got something to give you an idea of how you might format an adventure and maybe something to play. But this is the true campaign book. And again, it's filled out in exactly the same format. Text here to read out to players or to know how things are going, and then references to the various points. Again, I don't want to sort of dwell on this too much because we want to keep things secret. Well, we've got all these wonderful handouts. Oh my god, we got a Zeppelin. Fantastic. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Just the fact that it's Atlantis, I think that's always going to be a great place, isn't it, to have your adventurers trying to search for the lost city of Atlantis. So, there we go. That was a very quick flick through Outgunned Adventure, a standalone genre book for the cinematic action RPG Outgunned from Two Little Mice and Free League Publishing. I thoroughly enjoy this. I think this is great. Not only do I enjoy it because it is a role-playing game that is focused on a certain genre or that I particularly enjoy. I love Indiana Jones and The Mummy, National Treasure, Tomb Raider, Uncharted. These are all the types of movies and games that I really enjoy, so that's great. I'm not aware of any other games that do this genre, so again, as I've said, please, if you're aware of something, put it into the comments and so I can go and check it out. But I also really enjoy the game system. It is easy to learn, it's easy to sort of keep in mind and play, and the dice mechanics are genuinely really, really good fun, and they enhance that sense of sort of urgency and you know that sort of push your luck element that all of these movie action heroes seem to have. So, and I think it brings everybody in. You know, when you've got the dice and you're trying to achieve something and you roll and then you don't quite make it, and then you're going to chance some of your dice to try and achieve, and you roll those and you do succeed, and everyone's there sort of, you know, hoping that you're going to get the rolls that you need. It's I guess it's that sort of, is it Yahtzee sort of feel. I've played this type of mechanic in lots of board games, and it's just really, really engaging. So to have that in a role-playing game, I believe is going to be just a lot of fun. So I really, really do like that. So this game definitely receives the channel's Seal of Approval award. I can't highly recommend it enough. As I say, if you are into your pulp adventure genre, then this really is a must-buy. It's definitely worth adding to your collection. And I look forward to seeing what they do with the superhero genre in due course. But certainly, fingers crossed that Two Little Mice do well at the Ennies next weekend. I'm sure they will. So there we go. If you do have any questions, please do leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. A link is in the video description if you wanted to go and check out the game on the Free League web store. So next time, there might be a show next week. If not, it'll be the week after. So make sure you are following the channel's social media and you can keep informed there. I did receive something, a surprise item in the post this morning. Very much a surprise. So I am hoping that I will be able to share that with you potentially next week. Might be the week after. But I'm going to tease it tomorrow on social media, so be sure to check that out tomorrow morning. Well, thanks for your company. Hope you enjoyed the flick through Outgunned Adventure, and until next time, bye for now.